Good morning, Boquete. Woo! This is Al Stefanelli, and you're listening to Boquete Now, talk radio. Coming at you live every Friday morning from 10 to 11 in the a.m., of course. You know why people say Friday morning at 10 a.m. is kind of redundant, isn't it? But either way, we are sponsored by Big Daddy's Grill and the ACCB. Those ACCB, by the way, is our newest sponsor. And they are an awesome group of people. So, shout out to ACCB. Today we have a great show in addition to having Nicole Hart. Angelus, right?
Whatever.
It's
all good.
It's all good. And Michael Schwartz, who's been on the show bunch of
thousands of times.
And James Kent, the world's best bass player.
Well, thank you for that.
And today we have a live studio audience.
Yay!
You can't see him off the camera, but Dan is here. So for moral support and maybe...
and he drives me.
Right, he's Nicole's driver. So
my driver.
I know there's a lot of you listening today because of the post that we put and up there, the promotion for this show. And we're like, what, live music? What is that? We haven't done that since the old days, back in a year ago.
Right?
But... I know a lot of you, really had no idea that this was going on, and I figured since, being a musician myself and having had the pleasure of, at one point or another, playing music with everybody here, including Dan back there, I really wanted to get this message out and about what's coming up. So, a jazz band in Boquete at the park. Who wants to go first?
Well, I think James should go first because he's the
guy
originator of the idea.
He
came with this idea of forming a community jazz band. So let's hand it over to James.
It came from his head.
It did.
Yeah, my head.
James,
Okay,
what is this? What?
Well, I used to when I back in the States. I've been here 18 months.
Yeah.
And I came here, and my first day here, I did a gig with you.
Yeah, you got off the plane at 4 o'clock and showed up at 6.
Yep, on the gig.
Yeah.
And they gave me $25, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Ooh,
but
wow.
And
everybody else got 50.
They're
but,
actually, well, you got, paying the bass player, that's not usual. So that's good for you, man.
Right.
So, and then unfortunately, we know what happened with Michael Cooper, and that was very sad. And so I didn't do anything. And then I started playing with some other people down at the Rock. And I left that because it's, I want to play jazz and do stuff like this.
It's your thing, yeah.
And back in the States, I used to play in a 20-piece swing orchestra, and we used to do the same thing. We would do benefits. We would play, and we would ask the audience for money.
Right.
Donations.
Right.
And we'd give the donations to charity.
Sure.
And what we did do is we played at restaurants, and they would give each member in the band a $25 food card to come back with a group of 4. This is a hint for the restaurants.
We'll work for food.
We'll work for food. But no, I mean, that's one way of giving us something for the effort, and we raise money. So I got involved with the BCP, thanks to Mike Shorts, the 70s show, which I thought was pretty
well,
cool.
60s show.
60s show.
That was awesome. That was a great show, man.
I got to playing that, and I looked around and I said, there's some pretty good musicians here in Boquete.
A lot of talent here.
Yeah, and I said, I got to do something. And then one day I was down at the park, and I ran into the mayor.
Did you hurt him?
The mayor of Boquete.
Sorry.
Wise guy.
Yeah, I know.
And I mentioned, you got a nice gazebo there. It'd be nice to have some live music. He goes, well, I'd like to do that. And then it kind of hit my head that, what if these people are willing to do the BCP and not get paid? Remember that?
Yeah.
Perhaps they'd like to take on this project too, where everybody gets to play. It's a jazz band, but we do other music than jazz.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, Nicole's doing some beautiful songs. Peggy Lee and Dusty Springfield and.
Well, Nicole always does beautiful songs, doesn't she?
That's right.
Yeah, we have Mike, I used to say Michael Halpern.
Halpern, yes.
Vocalist doing some Frank Sinatra. And
oh, yeah.
We're doing a lot of different stuff, a lot of styles of music.
Yeah.
And the goal is to put that out front. People give a few dollars.
Sure.
It's going to be a Sunday afternoon, at 4 o'clock, in the afternoon, and at the park at the gazebo. You throw a few dollars in, and we give the money to a charity every week. And that way, we help people out.
Yeah, and that gazebo, we've actually, Nicole and Dan and I and the rest of the Wednesday drum circle have played in that gazebo.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
And the last time I was there was this dude just walking around. He was like fascinated with the drum circle, and the Boquete drummers, they've got extra drums, so we called this guy up there to have a seat, and he had a blast. So that's like community involvement,
Yeah.
I mean, most people don't walk around with instruments unless you're a harmonica player, but
Well, hoping to get
or
some
or you
local
found an
people.
accordion laying around on the street.
Yeah, that happens though. It really
on the
does.
sidewalk.
Well, we're also hoping to get some local Panamanian people involved. Maybe
Absolutely,
some
yeah.
students from the school, because we need horn players.
Yeah.
We need people
Yeah.
with saxophone, trumpet,
Yeah.
and maybe some students at the school.
And
Sure.
guitar.
Oh, yeah, we need a guitar
Yeah.
player.
Oh, yeah.
But we have been making, with jazz, you can do a lot of different things. And we have figured out, and yesterday we had a really good rehearsal.
Yeah.
Michael Halpin's a great harmonica player. We have Rhodey on keyboards, myself, Michael, and
Nicole.
right now. And
Right.
Dan's going to
And Dan was playing percussion.
Yeah, Dan
Well,
plays
we're going to get the
percussion.
drum circle to do a version of Caravan
Awesome.
Ooh.
with all the so.
Hey, maybe we can get the drum circle to do a rendition of Tusk. Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, wow.
How about we'll do Toad by Cream.
Toad.
No, but that's just the idea is to get the people to come down on a nice Sunday afternoon
And
Listen to
enjoy
some music.
yourselves and
Yeah.
and hang out together.
Right.
and give it to a good cause.
It's going to be
Yeah.
a win-win for the
For
community
everybody.
and for
That's
the
right.
players that participate in the band. And we are, as James said, we're looking for musicians who want to be a part of this community jazz band. And just to reinforce what he said, we're trying to play jazz, but other things that are jazz-inspired or jazz-infused
Jazzy.
I
or
like
things
that.
like
Jazz
that.
inspired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to play like Larry Carlton. You can
Yeah.
just if you're a decent guitar player, you can play. We'd love to have you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can chord, we'd love to have you.
We started doing a version of Van Morrison's Moon Dance.
I
and
love
we
that song.
did
Up the river.
what was that? Route 66 we started doing, and yeah, as James mentioned, Fever.
Oh,
Fever.
Yeah.
Fever.
You getting
Yeah.
your feet? Oh man, I love
And
that
some
song.
That's
nice
cool,
ones
too.
like A Night in Tunisia, or
Yeah.
Well You Need Him by Thelonious Monk, and some Chick Corea stuff.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
going to be running the gambit.
But the thing is also, we're all so starved, really, for
Starved.
some live,
Yep.
live entertainment. Obviously, none of us have really done much of anything in the way of gigging for the since last
No.
March.
Yeah.
And I know it's easy to say if you're one of the people who go to the restaurants and the bars and listen to live music, but I think the musicians, we miss it more
I think so too.
than the people who who go out, the audience members.
Well, I'll tell you, I really believe that the people at Boquete are missing it as well, because every day people are asking me,
yeah.
when is there going to be live
Yeah.
music? And there actually is live music, but only at the Rock
Only at
on
the Rock
Mondays
for now,
and
yeah.
Thursdays now. But people are always asking me, when is the music scene going to open up? And we hope this will be, a precedent. And thank you to the mayor
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
idea. And hopefully soon, very soon, we can be performing jazz in the park of Boquete, and we look forward to that day. We're really excited
the
about it.
gazebo really is it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
You're in an area that you're not going to be. It's a stage, obviously, but I don't think we're going to be done anytime soon with the masks and the social distancing. But this would allow live music in an outdoor setting where there's enough room for everybody. It's not you're not like in some of the places we've played where you could fit 8 people in there. You can get a lot, even with the 6
Well,
foot
we
rule.
just have to figure out, if we ever do find a horn player, how does that horn player play that horn with the mask on? That's what I want to know.
Put
How
the
does
mask
that
on the
happen?
horn.
have a little hole in the mask, the little horn.
Michael, we're going to find one.
Okay.
And performing
Oh,
on
okay.
Sunday afternoon at the daytime, the weather in Boquete is so beautiful.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Let's enjoy it.
Yeah,
Well, also,
yeah.
a lot of people don't go out at 8, 9 o'clock at night.
No, they don't.
That's
They don't
right.
go at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday
9
afternoon.
o'clock, I'm getting ready for bed.
Well, right after Wheel, right
Or I
after
might
Wheel
already
of
be
Fortune
asleep,
right now.
actually.
No, it really, it's good for the whole, really for the whole community. Not, for both the members of the community that are going to be in the audience and watching, but also for
Panamanian people.
for the Panamanian, for all the musicians. Especially, being a drummer there, Mike, sometimes gigging can get a little hard, there's a lot of stuff to schlep.
Yes.
Rehearsals. There was a time there where I was playing in 3 bands at the same time, and I was gone all the time. And you get to, oh man, this is tough, this is hard. I do one gig. When we played when I was sitting in for Frank, but still kicking, we went to Soul Kitchen from 6 to 9. I pack up my stuff, throw it in the car, go down the street, and at 9:30, start playing with Victor Julia on the Rock
Yeah.
Stars, and then Friday at Big Daddy's with Equilibrio, and then Monday with the karaoke. But when everything stopped, all of those memories of the difficulties didn't really matter.
Yeah.
It didn't really, because you just really miss. We're all entertainers, and that gives us our dopamine.
And we need to
when we're up there.
entertain.
We need to entertain, and this has been a dry spell.
You're not going to believe this, but just last night I was looking I put on the TV YouTube, and I did a search, and I don't know exactly what I used to search, but I found a video that you made from Soul Kitchen. It was like a 4-minute video
Yeah.
of our gig there when you were filling in for Frank Chandek.
Yeah.
And it was great. And then I found some other videos from BCP shows, but that had to be like almost 3 years ago. Or could it be?
It was at least 2 years.
It was
ago.
at least 2 years
Yeah, it was
ago.
at least
Yeah,
2 years
yeah.
ago.
And look how things have changed. I mean, Soul Kitchen is
Not even there
not
anymore.
even there
Not
anymore.
They're building
I didn't
something.
even know
Yeah.
they were. One day I drove by and they were gone.
It's
There
a
was
shame.
Yeah, yeah.
At least Calibri posted. Hey, it's been a wonderful however many years. We thank everybody. They just disappeared.
We had gigs. I mean, I'm talking now about Still Kicking. We had
Yeah.
gigs at Colibri. We played
Yeah.
Soul Kitchen. We played up at Mike's Global Grill, of course.
Of course.
And Tap Out and all over town. The music scene in Boquete was spectacular.
The first time I sat in with Still Kicking was on Pilar's birthday at Colibri.
Oh
You-
yeah,
you-
yeah, yeah.
me
That's
and-
right.
Me and Frank had a harmonica.
That's
yeah,
right. That's right. And that's when you showed us your little. It looked like a salt shaker microphone or something.
that
with a
little spice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, and then with obviously when Frank was gone, and you and I have played together a lot. And,
Yeah.
Nicole, I don't think we've ever actually played
I
together.
came
but
to your jam at your house.
You did, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
We had a good time that
yeah,
day.
we did.
Yeah.
And it's time it's times like that, when we think back about the places we played and the people we've met, the friendships that that we forged, and when that went away, it was that the camaraderie, that knowledge that okay, the next week we get to see Still Kicking, the next week we're going to see Nicole, then James Kent's band, and we all kind of went to each other's, and then we'd all end up at the brewery.
At the brewery, yeah.
We'd end up at the brewery because hashtag would come on about 10 o'clock at night, and they'd go till midnight.
We
1
missed the
o'clock in
music at the brewery.
Yeah, and this is really when James, when you had told me about this idea, the first thing I thought was, this is the coolest thing I've heard in a year. As far as the music scene goes, and when you told me, when you were explaining to me what your goal was, and how you wanted to do this, the first thing that came to my mind was a YouTube video I saw of when my guitar weeps. I can't remember the name of that song, and it was
While my guitar gently weeps.
Yes.
yeah. And then I thought of a video that I saw with Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, and like 20 musicians all doing Sweet Home Chicago. and everybody was having a great time. The audience was
Yeah.
loving it.
It might be the Crossroads concerts.
It
they
might have
do,
been,
I
yeah.
think.
But when James, when you tell me you want to get all these people, I thought that's so cool. That would be just an unbelievable experience. Not only just to be out there watching it, but to be involved in something like that.
Yeah. Well, as you know, there's a lot of logistics to put this together.
Sure, yeah.
Bringing this stuff in, setting this stuff up, cleaning up afterwards.
Getting power out there.
You know, and
Yeah.
the mayor is going to help us, but it's important. He doesn't have any money to give us. We are doing it for free.
Yeah.
We are not charging the town anything because the mayor doesn't have the money.
Sure. Well, and even if he did, there's other needs.
Yeah, there
more,
are
yeah.
priorities.
Sidewalks.
Yeah.
But he's gracious enough to give us the gazebo to play, and if the band gets big enough, we're talking to him about a rehearsal space, somewhere
Right.
we can go and rehearse, where we don't go to someone's house.
Yeah.
You know, a nice big place where we can rehearse. And he help us with other things that he can, but he says that financial, I can't. He says, you don't have to do anything financial.
No,
We want to
yeah.
do this to help the town.
Sure.
Any money we make, we're going to give to a cause, to something.
Sure.
I was thinking of helping the children with school, online school. They don't
Sure,
have a
yeah.
computer or
Yeah.
access or books. That's the first thing we're going to do is help the kids
Sure.
get education.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that, yeah. Now, I don't know. You know, maybe I don't know how it works here, but these schools, especially the primary and the secondary schools, that have these music programs. You know, you mentioned earlier the horn players, right? But each of these schools, some of the schools have a music program that maybe some of that money can go to help. You know, the
Yeah.
the
I
music-
think
the
that's a
music
great idea.
education,
Maybe
Yeah.
we
you know?
could help the school music program.
We don't know what kind of
Boquete.
condition their instruments are
That would be
in,
fantastic
You know, horn
because-
players. You know, I have
Yeah.
a very, very short period of my life where I played clarinet. Maybe 2-3 years. I tried. You know, when I was in middle school, junior high school, we used to call it. And I remember the thing that I always needed the most were reeds.
Reeds.
Right on.
Right, so you know you could take $40-50 and buy enough reeds for the whole horn section. You know, there's just so much that can be done, and if we can get horn players from these schools, maybe that'd be an incentive.
Well, my vision is to see some of the students on horns playing "Take the A Train."
Yeah,
In the
That would be
park.
cool. Oh my God! You know, and the thing about this is, for me anyway, as a musician, and I talked to other people, not many other people, but I talked to a few other non-musicians about this, and everyone that I've talked is really excited about this. You know, it's not just because of we've been in a dry spell, you know, live music wise for a year now, but just having something that's community based. You know, where we don't have to go out at 8, 9 o'clock at night and go to a restaurant. You know, some people don't like doing that. Some people are still going to be uncomfortable with being in an indoor, you know, enclosed space. And be that as it may, the general vibe I'm getting is one of anticipation, right, and excitement over this.
Awesome.
You know, and I hope any guitar players out there
And horns.
and horns.
Well, you know, Al, you talk about when this virus started, and after the 60 show was just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And after the 60 show, we wanted to start a little show. So I contacted some of the people from the 60 show and said, well, you know, we'd like to do another little show. And we had an initial meeting. I remember, you know, the virus started in March, mid-March, and this was after. We knew the virus was here,
But
we had no idea how long it would last.
Yeah.
And people were asking me, when do you think we're going to do the show? And I told them, probably May or June we're going to be doing this show. You know, like we had no clue that it was going to be a year plus that we were going to be really without live music. I mean, it's
and I
terrible.
look at, you know, I every night I post all the numbers and figures and on Facebook, and you know the communications that Mensa puts out, they're numbered, you know, consecutively, and I'm on, and they didn't start these really until after Nito came on and announced that there was going to be the lockdown and all that stuff. So I'm on number 359
Wow.
consecutive days that I have posted this stuff. And so that's what, 6 days away. Well, now it's 5 days away from being a year.
Wow.
Well,
And
Al, for myself, I just want to say thank you for all the information that you
It's-
provide. I
you
hear
know-
people talking about you and the information, the links to all this information all over town. I would say on behalf of everybody, but that's a little presumptuous on my
Well,
part.
I just try to
But,
keep
You can
everybody
say on behalf of
informed.
me.
on behalf of me and Nicole, I don't know about James. He's a
It's,
he's a hard.
it's just basic information. That's really.
No,
all
I
it
know
is.
Yeah,
it's
but it
basic
still takes
information.
time and
It does,
effort to do that.
But if
Thank
you remember also in the beginning, all of a sudden everybody was a scientist. Everybody was a virologist or whatever it's called, and everybody knew what you had to do and not do. And there was a lot of misinformation out there. And
There was,
thanks
yeah.
to Al, we got the straight, answers.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is our adopted country.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that at least thing that we can do is just know what's going on in our country. So it's no problem. I'm happy to do it. I really am. But like I said, it's
59.
59 days that we've been under. I think March 7th, I believe, is and I can look it up, give you the exact date, is when NITO put us under a state of emergency. And we all thought it was going to be a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's been just about a year, almost a year now.
Yeah, almost a year.
And
Yeah.
it's been a struggle for a lot of businesses here, particularly restaurant and hospitality. You know that, Nicole. You're in the hospitality business.
That's right.
We need kind of a break.
We finally had to
You
take
know.
on people full time because we never knew what restrictions Spencer was going to put out.
And they change.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess that's just the nature of the beast. But we've been doom scrolling, right? We all doom scroll. What's this? What's the latest? People. How many people have? The masks, and it seems that as we are interacting with each other on our social media, it seems to be all bad, right? And then you get like these bright points of light, and like the community jazz band. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show.
Thank you.
Because it's a point of light in what some people see as a pre-apocalyptic existence, but I don't think it'll go that far. But there's a lot of negativity on social media. There's a lot of arguing, and there's
True.
a lot of just. But music is an equalizer.
Yeah.
Well, for that reason too, the negativity that you speak about, I would like to say a heartfelt thank you to the country of Panama
Sure.
and the way they've handled this pandemic, because when you compare it to, all of us are from the United States, a great superpower, and they're not handling it that well. They're really not.
no.
I was back in North Carolina in November. And every state had a different way to handle it,
Yeah.
and not well. I don't think they've done it very well.
Well, when
and
you look
here, I'll tell you one thing that we're all used to: going into an establishment, they take your temperature,
Yeah.
and they give you hand sanitizer. They don't even do that in the United States.
No,
Crazy.
no. And each,
Where I was, no place did that.
and each
They-
state has different rules on masks,
different
and
rules.
shields, and all that.
So
and
when you come to Boquete and you see the way it's handled here, I thank you. Thank you to whoever, the president, the mayor, for handling it that way. And some people disagree with, they don't think that this is necessary or that's necessary. I don't care.
I don't care
like
either.
I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I like the way they're
well,
handling
it shows in the mortality rate worldwide is 2.6, 2.7%. It's been floating around there, and Panama has been 1.5, 1.6 consistently. This has just been a
Oh, that's
consistent,
great.
a
That's
consistent
great.
thing. So we've been a full percentage point, which is a lot of people.
That is. That's
A full percentage point mortality rate below. So,
Yeah.
whether you agree with it or not, there's a lot of different opinions out there, obviously, and that's not what the show's about. But the fact is, in this country, this is mandated.
Right.
You know, really, this is what you have to do.
And it's been working.
And when you look at the figures that come out about, you know, caseloads and all that, it is working for, you know, for however or whatever. But you know, you really don't want to, and I really avoid, like the plague. I really avoid, like the plague, getting into conversations on social media about,
Forget it.
you know, personal opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know, and you have to
Right.
respect everyone's right to hold that opinion. But I always go back to, well, what do the numbers say? Because math is math. It's just math,
Right.
you know. And I looked at our country is a whole percentage point, sometimes even more, ahead of the rest of the world, or a majority of the rest of the world. I rest a little easier figuring, okay, you know, I know there's a lot of, you know, conversation about corruption and blah, blah, blah. But for me personally, I feel more comfortable even having to wear these things. No one likes to wear these things.
No.
No one.
Right.
It's just, you know, and at the rate that I smoke with COPD, it is genuinely hard for me to, you know, to breathe.
Right.
But I feel that we have a better chance of survival here. I think we're better off here. All of us.
I agree,
are-
and
are
I think
better off here.
they've just taken logical steps, like with the curfews. I think it was at 7 at one time.
Yeah, then it went to 9. Now it's
9,
at 10.
now 10.
Yeah.
And they're great. You see that you know, people really need to get out now. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you've been cooped up for a year,
Yeah.
and people are looking forward to that. And that's why they're also looking forward to live music, and that's what
Right.
we hope we can provide in the
Yeah.
park
And
under the
yeah.
auspices of the mayor.
And the fact that it's outdoors,
outdoors,
you know, is really, that's one of the I guess, for a lack of a better word, more attractive aspects of this, because it's outdoors.
Absolutely.
And everyone can come, and you're safer, I guess, outdoors than you are in an enclosed space.
Yeah, that's,
You know.
we can open the doors and windows where we are and
Yeah.
let the air run through the house.
Right.
Which helps.
Yeah, it does.
Some places you can't.
No, you
So,
can't. And, you know, when you're, even with, you know, if you have a capacity of 100 people in a small space, even if you have it down to 50, even if you count the band members as part of that 50, you're still, you know, there's people who aren't comfortable with that, you know, and I'm not going
Right.
to, I don't want to give them, you know, grief about it. That if they're uncomfortable, they're not going to go out, even as much as they want to. But in the gazebo in the park, there's a huge open space.
Yes.
And they just remodeled it. They did a beautiful
It's
job
beautiful.
over there. And you know, as long as we have enough sound, right, you can be anywhere in that square and enjoy the music.
Well, that's what we're the other people. We're going to be reaching out to people to help us with the sound. Some
Oh,
of the
yeah.
people from the BCP. They're very experienced, and you know, we want to get a lot of people involved, and we want to get the vendors out there so you can come down, get a little something to eat, sit down, listen to the band,
Sure.
help everyone.
Throw in a couple of bucks.
Throw in
Yeah.
a couple of bucks,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and all, you know, there's a lot of, and I know we touched on a couple of things, but there's still a lot of need in this community.
Certainly,
you know,
yeah.
I've had 7 or 8, probably more than that, over the last year or so that I've been doing the show, these charities, and there's no short supply of causes. You know, and there's something for everybody, right? You know, if you feel strongly about animals, you've got at least a half a dozen organizations here. You know, you have education charities, you have law enforcement, you know, charities. There's just so much. So there's always an opportunity
To contribute.
to contribute. And I have Boquete. I've lived in so many different places. Day and I have moved 30 times in 30 years,
Good
probably
grief.
more.
Wow.
This is by far the most generous and kind community that we have ever lived in. I mean, it's amazing to me. Every time when someone will post something on social media and say, hey, there's a need here, man, this community steps up. They've done it for me when I had to have cancer surgery, you know? And it's, if there's a need, this community steps up. You know that too.
I certainly
you know,
do.
Probably more than most of us.
I'm very grateful.
And yeah, that's the word. You know, this presents not only an opportunity to be entertained, right, or to be involved in something that's genuinely a lot of fun, but to also, contribute to these charities. And you probably haven't gotten that far yet in the development on who you're planning to sponsor, to give money to, right?
Oh, no, we haven't.
Yeah, that's
Well, we're
down.
meeting Monday at 9 o'clock with the mayor
Yeah.
to discuss when we're going to start and what the whole thing is about.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really sat down with him. He just said, "Oh, great idea. Yes, we could do that."
Yeah.
So now we're going to iron it out.
Yeah.
Well, there is so much need, as you mentioned, Al, but the idea of giving to music programs, that really
I love
has
that.
excited
I
me,
love
that here we are, we're happy to provide music for the community and from the community, with other musicians that we're going to find. And why not support the music programs?
Well, that thought occurred to me, because these are young people. What if 14, 15, 16 years old? And if you're in a music program in this country, you're in a music program because you want to be. When I was in elementary school, you had to take music. And not that I minded at all. I didn't particularly like my music teacher. She would count things off. 1, 2, 3. And when she got
We're on
stuck,
radio, Al.
when she got stuck on point 2, you're 8, 9 years old. You're just laughing your butt off, right? 'Cause anyway, but the young people who play music today in these schools, these are the future, musicians in Panama. And there's been a lot of really, really great musicians that have come out of this country.
Oh, absolutely.
And the thought of even having a tiny part in the development of local musicians, really, that makes me happy, and it makes me feel that we're somehow contributing to the musical culture.
Contributing to the greatest good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
What a concept.
Well, you talked before about being grateful. I'm grateful just to be able to live here
I know,
in
right?
Boquete.
Right
I mean,
on.
I just
I know.
feel grateful.
You
Right
get
on.
up in the
And-
morning and look out your window, and you're like, I can't believe
Unbelievable.
I get to
Yeah,
walk. It's like, especially the view from your place.
Right.
My view from my backyard is the main road. And it's still cool.
And it's still cool.
Yeah, look at my front window and there's cattle.
Well, there's very few bad views in
Yeah,
Boquete.
that's what
I
I
mean,
mean.
it's,
That's right. That's a good way to put it.
People who live up in the mountains, you all post unreal, just such beautiful, this is my breakfast, right? And you're overlooking a balcony and there's just mountains and trees and just cloud formations and all that. I live downtown in the valley, and my view out my front window, a lot of the times there's a cattle farm, the pastures across the street from me, and I look out, and when they have the cows in the front one, they're literally like 30 feet from my front door. And I don't even smell them anymore, but to me, that's a cool view too.
Oh, yeah.
I never had that. I grew
Yeah.
up in New York City. The only cows we had were on a plate,
yeah.
in a restaurant.
But that's why you dream of ribs at night. Like hamburgers.
Man.
But I have to tell you, we yesterday we had a rehearsal, and afterwards I had a guest at my house, and I live up in Palmyra, and this friend of Pilar's said, "Oh, it's raining. I think it's raining." I go, "It's not raining." She goes, "No, I hear the rain." I go, that's not the rain. That's we have a river down there.
Yeah,
Like there
yeah.
are rivers all over here.
Yeah.
And when you hear it going by, generally it sounds like rain, but
Yeah.
it wasn't raining. So, it's a beautiful place, and
The view from your backyard.
yeah,
Specifically from your mini heliport.
yeah, yeah. I love it here, and thanks to James for coming up with this idea. If you're a musician and you're interested, jazz, it's not my first choice. I mean, I actually have not really played jazz.
Well, it's
And,
not hardcore jazz. I mean, I played in
Well, it is what you want to play all the time.
Well, I used to play the after hours clubs in Kansas City 3 years ago. We played till 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and everything is high energy, young. I mean, I was getting my butt kicked every time I played there, but I learned a lot. But
Yeah.
no, we're going to do a little bit of that. We
Yeah.
We have a
No.
few tunes that are a little off beat kind
Well,
of.
what I'm
songs.
saying is you really love jazz, and I like it. I just never played it, and I like what we're playing. I mean, we have come up with a a set list of all kinds of things, like some of the things I mentioned.
Well, it's a learning experience. At least it was for me, because when you and Rhodey came to my house back then, I've been playing drums since I'm 12. I'll be 58 this year. I've never played jazz. It never occurred to me that you don't. It's a whole different way of playing. And I've never played that way before. I always, like you always emphasize your downbeat on your bass drum. This is a way of playing. And then, James comes over and he says, no, this is, and really, like, drumming for dummies. He said, no, this is how you concentrate on it. And we play for an hour, maybe hour and a half. I had a blast.
Yeah.
It's like, I learned something. I took the skills that I had and moved them to something else, and it was a lot of fun. And so when you say you don't like jazz, what do you really know about it?
Oh, yeah. I said that it's not my first choice.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I'm a blues guy. I'm a blues diehard.
You and me both.
And
I want to get funky.
Yeah, we want to get funky.
But we are doing now. I mean,
yeah, we are.
There's
we're
people
doing
out there
some
like,
miles.
oh, I don't like jazz. It's not what you think.
Yeah.
The way it was explained to me, what.
But it is a whole new, way of playing, a whole new mindset, and a learning curve, and things like that. And I'm having a blast.
It's fun, isn't it?
And really, I invite other musicians out there who want to get involved with this community band. And James always stresses how it's a community band for the community, which I love. And it's we all have good intentions. So
I just just don't. If you're a musician, don't be afraid.
No, don't be afraid. We're very
James,
laid back.
James,
Don't be afraid, and we're not judgmental.
James sent me a set list a while back, and is like Thelonious Monk, and so I put the YouTube videos on. I'm like, I can't play this. This guy is on like Buddy Rich level, and I'm watching, listening to it. I'm like, there's no way I can do. I tried. I couldn't get the syncopation right. I felt like I was 12 again, and I got my first drum set. But when you guys came over, within 5 minutes, you had made me feel a lot more comfortable about how to do this. So if you're out there and you're a musician and you've never played jazz before, or jazzy songs.
Jazzy.
If your entire exposure to jazz were jazz hands, no, don't be afraid, because James is a fantastic and very patient teacher.
Yes, he is.
yeah.
He gets a little hyper, though, at rehearsal. He starts to get a little... because I see it, but it's not happening. I got to learn to calm down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have a vision. When you have an idea and you know where you want to take it, and you can see it. You can see the completion of it. You close your eyes and you can see everyone on the stage playing music and people out there and the lights and the sound and all that. And then but you're still at stage one. And I've been there with other, not with music, but with other projects, in my life. And I understand that I get antsy. I lose my patience. I'm like, oh, why can't I go from A to Z? Amazon does it. It's on their box.
Well, what's nice with this project, and really all musical projects that you're involved in, when you have rehearsals, is you see the progress.
And you can work things out.
We sound way different now than we did when my first week, where, like, it was just almost torturous to get through a song.
Well, it felt like you fell down the stairs with your drums.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But now it's flowing really well, and everyone's listening to each other. That's the key.
Yeah.
Is to listen to each other.
Yeah.
Bring the dynamics. Follow the singer. That's rule number one.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. And I don't think people have heard Michael sing. Michael Halpern.
Yes.
He has got a fantastic voice.
It's a lovely voice.
I have heard Michael Schwartz sing, though. I have video.
I feel bad for you.
I have video.
You have video of me singing?
I have video of you singing.
Really?
Yeah. You can have it for $300.
If not, it goes out.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
No, but Michael has a background in show. He's done a lot of shows. He's done a lot of theater. So he knows how to embellish songs.
Perform.
Perform.
Yes,
Yeah.
entertain.
So it's
Performance
not gonna be
art.
it's not going to be people staring at the guitars, you know, a 20-minute guitar solo. No, that's not what it's all about.
No.
It's about the 15-minute bass solo.
You know, I was listening, and I don't know who it is. I have a mixed, well, we used to call them mixed tapes. I have a mixed CD of old blues music. That's still 2/3 of the songs play. The other one's kind of skipped. And I can't remember the name of the song, and when I find it, I'll text you on it. But there's a bass. It's a bass-based, hey, like that. It's a bass-based song, and throughout the whole song, it's focused on the bass player. And there's a couple of solos in there that just totally blew my mind. How do you play a bass that fast? It's from a musician's point of view, it's like, man. And then I thought of you. The only time that we played together on stage is when you got here, and I thought that we handled that rhythm, you know, pretty well. You know, we had a good time doing that.
Well, I look over at you and I'm like, just groove, man, just groove.
Yeah.
Just groove. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, man. You know,
Yeah,
just groove.
Yeah, I was watching and I did this with Art too. And you can only do this a drummer can only really do this with a really good bass player. Sometimes, you know, as it happens, we lose time. You know, it just goes away. And I can always count on looking at your fingers, because it's always perfect time. Art was the same way. Art tapped his foot in perfect time. So if I ever lost my time, I told Art, I said, hey, stand over here, but turn this way a little so I can see your foot. He says, why? I said, because when I lose time, I look at your foot. And that night we were playing together, I was just looking at your fingers. Because it was,
I
you
have
have an
to say,
internal metronome that I don't possess.
I have to say, I don't know about you, Al, but I went to these blues jams in New York, you know, where there's some really good players, and they always had a surplus of guitar players and drummers. There were always guitar players and drummers, and usually the bass player of the house band would play the whole night. There were very rarely would anybody, you know, show up and say, "Oh, I play the bass."
I've been there.
I think we're blessed. Yeah, I think we're blessed in Boquete. I wanted to say, with amazing bass players.
Yeah,
We do.
Because
We have.
there's like a town of great bass players.
There's one
you know.
that rented our downstairs condo.
Oh yeah, you have a bass player staying with
Yeah.
you. But I look around at the Panamanian bass players.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
Larry, our bass player, and still kicking. You know, Art, who you know is
Art plays
fantastic
bass.
on
Art plays everything.
guitar
Art
and
plays
bass
everything, that's right.
and everything else. I mean, what a town of bass players! It's so
Yeah.
rare. It's
That
so
is rare.
unusual. You
It
know?
is,
That
yeah.
is rare.
It's
Yeah.
funny now. You know, I do remember going to jam sessions, and in recollection, yeah, the bass player was usually up there all night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
There would be 12 drummers. You know, there
I
would be
know, right?
11 guitar players,
A handful of
and
singers. Yeah.
the bass player would be what? Does anybody play bass? Anybody play bass? You know?
Anybody.
When I lived in Kansas City, I would get calls from friend bass players saying, "Hey man, can you come down and give me a break for a little while? You know, I did a gig last night. I got 3 hours sleep, and I got another 3 hours to go. Can you just come down and let me, you know, play for an hour so I can take a nap?"
You know, someone had, and this is really, I was playing with a band, and to give you an idea how long ago this was, it was a church band, and there were several musicians, but there was only the one bass player. And I can't even remember his name, but he called me up and he says, "Hey, I need you to fill in for me." I'm like, "I don't play bass. I play drums, keyboards, harmonica. You know, I could play 4 or 5 chords on a guitar, but I've never picked up a bass in my life." He says, "Okay, come down and I'll show you what to do." This is when I realized how valuable a bass player is. So he gives me an Ibanez, and he got little Post-it notes. And on the back of the fretboard, he put, you know, the notes on these little Post-it boards. And I ended up filling in for him for 16 weeks.
Oh yeah, you went on tour after that gig.
And for 16 weeks, I'm not a bass player. Seriously, this is not my thing, you know. It's like, I'm not a cook, you know. I can operate a toaster and I can make pasta, right? But I played everything. Now, granted, they were 3-chord songs, you know, they weren't the hymns and stuff.
It's still.
But I played everything like this. My head down. And on one string. I play everything on one string. I didn't use a 4-string bass. The other 3 strings, you could have just taken them off the bass and I would have sounded exactly the same. And it was arduous for me because I was so uncomfortable with it. I wanted to do every time, and I said, well, maybe I'll do something fancy, and then no, it just did not work.
So you weren't like, who took my Post-it notes?
Oh yeah, they'd fall off every now and then, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is. But that experience, gave me a new appreciation for that part of the rhythm section, of how, because I was not a natural at that at all. I had to work at that, and I was staring down at those Post-it notes, and just when you're playing music and you're staring at your instrument and not the other musicians, something is going to go sideways, and it did almost every Sunday morning. Bass players to me, and I played in a band as a drummer without a bass player. It wasn't fun.
In my band in New York, we went through 18 bass players before we finally settled on the one.
Well, so you didn't know James.
That's right. So as soon as I heard
All you had to
James
do was
play, I
call
was
me.
like, "Hello."
Yeah. But yeah, when Art left Rewind, and before that day you showed up, we went months without a bass player, and I was pretty much the rhythm section. And I am not a great drummer. I'm adequate. I can keep the beat. I don't and a couple of fills, but I am by no means an awesome drummer.
I thought I had turned
I
it
still
off.
haven't forgiven you, Al, for the one night I show up to see you play and you were not there. You didn't show up.
I got food poisoning.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was horrible.
I know.
But playing without a bass player, it really kind of takes the fun out of performing. And
Yeah.
then James shows up.
Then I showed up
I'm like,
that
this is
day.
the best show we've had in months.
Well, it's kind of like, if there's, you know what you're missing if there's no bass player. Like if you don't appreciate it before, without a bass player, you're certainly going to appreciate the bass.
And this is why we're going to have bass solos.
Oh, there are a few.
There's a few, yeah.
There's not many,
Yeah.
but just
What the hell?
everybody's going to get a piece.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Everybody's going to get their moment.
I was turning it off,
Yeah.
Daniel. Good Lord. Have
So
mercy.
it's everyone's going to get their moment. This
Yeah.
is like I said. It's about,
I'm really excited about this. Now, what is now? What do we got? We got like hello. We got like 10 minutes left. See how fast this flies? Bam,
Yeah,
bam, bam.
yeah.
What's the timeline like? And I love reminiscing with you guys. Like I said, I play
Yeah.
music with all of you. What's your timeline like? When are you expecting this to happen? When would you like for this to happen?
Well, what do we have? Almost 20 songs now.
That's
We
2
need
sets.
more.
Yeah, and if we only these shows are going to be an hour and a half, 2 hours. This is not a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's 2 sets. You probably got enough music now, right? It's 10
Well,
songs a
we're
set.
getting closer, but we once again, if we could just get that guitar player,
Yeah.
that would help with the rhythm section, and just one horn, and then we're doing fine now with what we have. We're getting by pretty good.
Yeah.
I was very impressed yesterday. Everybody I said, guys, why don't we try this? Have Michael play the harmonica, play the horn parts, and it came together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it added so much.
Everybody
really.
just reached out and said, okay, fine. We pulled it, and it sounded fine. And I'm like, this is going to work. So if we do get a guitar player, it's just going to bring it to another level.
Sure. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
will get it. We will get a guitar player.
It'll happen.
We will.
In Kansas City, you can't go down the street without running one over. I mean, there's one behind every bush, but no, I know it's just finding someone who's going to want to do it.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't want to play for free.
I know, but you know what though?
You're
we've
not
done-
playing for free.
Then
What you're
sit home.
No. You're playing for enjoyment, for musical enjoyment,
Yes.
And
to
helping.
contribute to the community.
Yeah.
Hello.
No, look, we've all been in bands that have done benefits.
Absolutely.
And it's really, it's a good feeling, to know that what you're doing is to contribute to people who have a need.
And we're getting older.
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
help. It will help your mind.
Yeah.
No, it does.
Yes,
Music,
it does.
You use both sides of your brain.
Well, I need it. I definitely
It's
need
not
Yeah, I
like
do
it's not like David Geffen is scouting the clubs here trying to find the next rock star to make a CD. It's
Right.
when you come down to it, we're just a bunch of retired folks playing in a little mountain
We're
town.
not
in Central
looking to
America.
be
So have
discovered.
fun, man. Have fun.
I was in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I went out to this club to see this band. And they were all a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
And I said to him, what's the music scene here? And he goes, you see all those high-rise condos on the beach? I go, yeah. He goes, every one of those rec rooms has a band.
Wow.
Every one of those buildings has
That's
a group
cool.
of guys that get together
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
just play.
Yeah.
But to get back to your question,
Yes.
we can't we can't give you a definitive answer of when we're going to
Sure.
play, but
The latest will be April 1st, April Fool's Day.
really okay. Well, I guess we can.
I guess we can.
April Fool's Day would be well, if it's a Sunday.
Well, let's see what the first Sunday is. I gotta take
You know,
my glasses off.
you're
so I
never
can see.
you're never ready. You just got to do it.
No, okay. Well,
No,
I didn't think we were going to give a date, but let's say maybe sometime
There's
in April.
There's a lot to
April
be said for the
4th.
seat of the pants.
April 4th is the first Sunday in April, but it's also Easter Sunday.
That's not going to work.
Oh,
So March 28th is the Sunday before. April 11th is the Sunday after.
Let's see
okay.
how it goes.
See how it goes. Yeah, but so
All right,
basically
we're
you-
going to try to be ready on
March 28th.
March 28th is April. Well, it's not April Fool's Day. It's the last.
It's the
Sunday.
last day. So basically,
Yeah.
that,
Last
that
Sunday
last
in
week,
March.
first week, right around that time.
We'll be advertising. We'll be putting up posters around town saying that we're playing. We're going to be getting the word out.
Yeah.
You can help us.
Sure, absolutely.
That's
I
what we're
will.
hoping for.
And we would
We're-
really appreciate it, you guys, if everyone would make an effort to show up and be in the audience and cheer loudly, please.
Yeah, that's kind of our crack, right? You know, when you're playing music and you know that
Oh, yeah.
you know that you're in a groove and people are dancing and they're smiling if it's in a restaurant and
Yeah.
it's just there's really no comparable for me anyway. There's no comparable feeling as an entertainer to know that you're doing your job, that you're entertaining people, but it's not really a job. You know, you just.
It's great
And
when
we,
you.
did, and we
explain
didn't
that
have
to
the
someone.
we didn't have the jazz festival this year.
I know.
So you guys
I
got to
know.
come out and
The next
boogie
best
down.
thing
Yeah.
to the jazz
Yeah.
festival.
And also, Al offered to be the master of ceremonies.
Oh,
I
on the
would be
first
honored
gig,
to.
he,
Be the
would-
MC.
he would be up there warming the
Great.
crowd up with
well, you're
his
going to
stick.
join us on some of the tunes.
Yeah,
then, I
absolutely.
hope.
Yeah. I usually, and I don't have them today. I usually walk around with, people say, "Is that a harmonica in your pocket? Are you glad to see me?"
Ba-dum-bum.
I usually keep, 3 or 4 of them with me, either in the car,
Yeah.
because you never know.
Yeah.
But it's been so long since we've had live. I got out of the habit of carrying them. That's what happened at Calibri. The first time I said I
Oh,
had,
that's right, yeah.
I had 3 or 4 harmonicas with me in my little Merce, my man purse, right? And that was how it started.
Well, we're all looking forward to that time, when you're playing live and the audience is out there and they're excited and they're screaming, more bass solos, more bass solos.
Yes.
That's what I can't wait for that moment.
That never happens. I just want to be up there playing, look out and seeing people dancing to
and being happy.
dancing to
Yeah.
sway
And being happy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Oh yeah, we're doing that song
Yeah,
Sway?
I do.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
great tune.
That's
great
actually
and,
I
I don't want to put any pressure on our singer,
And
but
I want to see the local children looking at going, what is that?
yeah.
Because
Can
they
I
don't
do
get
that?
they don't get to see entertainment.
Can I do that?
I was going to say we're
yeah.
going to try to convince Michael to sing it in English and in Spanish.
You know what would be
Yes.
really
That's a
cool?
good idea.
This just popped into my head. This would be really cool is to have on hand, just in a box or something, like what do you call those?
Maracas?
No.
Huh?
It'll be too much chaos.
You think so? You know where I'm
Yeah.
going with this, don't you?
Oh, I know where you're going. Audience
Where?
participation.
Well, kids though.
Steel drums?
Just
Oh,
kids.
What are you
Kids.
talking about?
Okay.
Just for kids. Yeah, just have some rattles or some blocks or something.
Percussion, like
Yeah,
this.
just
Maybe-
some percussion stuff for small children, like under 10. You know,
Yeah.
the ones that you said just stand there staring.
Yeah.
Like, wow, just for,
I like that idea.
even
No,
if
I
it's
thought you were
just-
going to give them to adults.
Oh,
We don't want that. No.
Never trust an adult.
No.
Never trust an adult with a tambourine. Just don't, But, for a small child that's standing there in awe, right?
Yeah.
And looking at all this going on,
That's
this
a great
music,
idea.
have them come up and you just for a few seconds, do that. Or say, hey, this song's going to be for the kids, whatever song. And just have to, through the whole song, have the little kids come up. Not the adults, again. Sorry, guys,
Yeah.
ladies, no.
Everybody over 5, sit down.
Everyone over 5 sit down. But that I think, and then now you have the parents, right, out there watching their little kid up there just for a few seconds doing a rattle thing. I think that would be cool. Again, it's not my show. It's just a thought that popped into
No,
my
I think it's a great idea. Anything like that. Anyone has any suggestions, just call Michael He likes calls like, 2 to 5 in the morning, right? Because you can't sleep. So
Between
you
two,
can call him at home.
yeah. His number.
I don't know how you know that,
We
James,
do.
but it's true.
You know that feeling when someone's watching you?
Yeah.
He's outside your window.
No, we did.
That's
I did
creepy.
set up a group on Facebook. It's
Yes, you did.
Community Jazz. You can go there with comments. And
Yeah. It's a public group.
Yes.
All right, I'll put it in the link when I.
Awesome.
We're actually, if you're listening to this live, and as you know, we record all of this on video. So sometime this weekend, whenever it's available, I will post it, and I will post a link to the Facebook group in there for
And
everybody.
you can send
Thank
me a
you, Al.
message if you want to play. You'd get together with myself and the piano player, and we'll go over some tunes. And if it looks like it's going to work, we go bring it to the band.
That's Rhodey, right?
Yes, that's correct. Brody does all the arrangements. He's got a computer program. He's the lion worker in the band.
Rhodey, I tell you what, man. When we were playing with Rewind, we would rehearse in Michael Cooper's house upstairs.
Oh yeah, I've
Right?
been there.
So I'm like, okay, well, yes, you were. And I'm thinking to myself, every time I'm just carrying the drums up the stairs, which really wasn't a big deal, they kind of fold. Rhodey, he's an older gentleman.
That's good. Yeah,
He's an older gentleman, and, he's slender.
He is slender,
Yeah.
yes.
This piano that he has, and I know because I worked on that piano, I've installed software on it, is heavy. So he'd pull up with this truck and by himself, take this piano out, drag it up the stairs, set it up, and then when he was done, he'd insist on taking it down.
Mm.
You want to talk about that's hard work for someone who is younger. He's got a lot of what do you call it?
He's dedicated to this.
He
He's
is
very dedicated.
and he and I for a while there in Rewind, we had two pianos because he has a couple of really nice pianos. So he had his piano, and I'd have my piano, and we play the same song, but different parts of the same song. And that was one of the things that Cooper wanted to try out.
Well, that would
is
work
a
for
band
us,
with
too.
two pianos.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That would work for us
yeah.
too.
And Rhodey is a great player. He like I say, does his arrangements. And even before I got my little keyboard, I do all the fills, right? All the
flourishes.
all the flourishes. It was great. It was, and so if you've never played with Rhodey, ladies and gentlemen, musicians out there.
Well, the first time I went over his house, I pulled out an easy one, Killer Joe by Quincy Jones. And then I pulled out Night in Tunisia. You know something? I went back the following week and he learned it
yeah,
because he puts the time into it.
he does.
And he's so much better than when he started. All of us are.
Yeah. Rhodey's special people, and he's also a great chiropractor.
Yeah.
So we are down to, let's see,
1 minute.
we're down to 1 minute. So before I go, I want to make sure everyone knows that we're sitting here with Nicole, Michael, and James, Boquete Community Jazz Band. I'm going to be putting all the info on the show, but in this last 60 seconds we had, you guys get 20 seconds apiece.
I am really excited to perform again. I need it.
We missed you. We have missed you.
Oh, thank you. I've missed me too.
Well, I'm also excited to be part of this community jazz band. I invite other people to join us and look forward to playing live. And Al, thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Just
James?
once again, Al, thanks very much. And couldn't have done it without these people. It was just an
Yeah.
idea. And it just started snowballing. As soon as I started talking to people, they all said the same thing.
Let's do it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. All right. On behalf of the Boquete Community Jazz Band, Nicole, Michael, and James, thank you very much for showing up. And our studio audience left.
No, he's there.
Studio audience. I am Al Stefanelli. You've been listening to Boquete Now on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM. I want to thank everyone for your time and attention. Take care, be good, buy bonds during the wax safe chicken fat. Don't take any wooden nickels. And for crying out loud, tell someone you love them today. We're out.
Right on.